a lot, he'll keep you on your toes. It's the Eric Miranda Show. When he drank a lot, he would fight a lot, he might punch you in your nose. It's the Eric Miranda Show. There are people who would tell you he is crazy, but if you listen closely, he's unbelievable. He used to drink a lot, and now he talks a lot, he'll keep you on your toes. It's the Eric Miranda, Eric Miranda, Eric Miranda Show.
And we have Francis Dunnery with us. What is going on?
Look at that handsome fella.
Francis.
I'm not going to say anything because you told me not to say anything, otherwise I'll get cancelled.
You're gonna get, dude. You are destined to be canceled. All right. I just want to share something with you guys. All right. Just one thing, and I have a feeling. No, that's not it. What is it? Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Woo!
We're not in a rush. We got 59 minutes.
We got 59. All right, check it out. I want to share something with you guys.
And according to your song, you're unbelievable.
I'm unbelievable. Ready? Here we go. Here we go. This is this dude.
That's Albert King.
People I have no time for.
You see it?
Oh, yeah.
Sexist or homophobic, or if you don't believe in conspiracy theories.
Not even some of them. I've seen that. It's funny.
Just don't understand. How do you not believe in any conspiracy theories? I understand not all of them, not most of them, but you don't believe in any conspiracy theories? You just think the government's just batting 1,000 and telling us the whole truth? That's a strong stance to take. And again, as I said before, I don't like talking about politics on stage or off stage. I don't like talking about things I don't feel like I'm truly knowledgeable in. But I do know this. Our government is placed in charge of all of its people. I'm a father who's been placed in charge of just one son. And I lie to that nigga all the time.
All right, guys, that's it right there. That sums up my whole life right there. So, okay, what I want to talk about is, all right, Francis Dunnery, did we go to the moon?
You know what? I'm starting to doubt that we did.
Okay.
Because, when I look at it logically, right? I look at it logically, and I watch all these programs, and they keep telling us we can't go there, otherwise we'd set fire to ourselves or something.
That's Allison, everyone. Sorry.
Sheila.
I can't hear everybody. Hang on.
That's Allison.
Who's that?
That's Allison Cohen. You remember her, the hot redheaded model from the 80s? Sorry.
That's not me.
It's a good job she couldn't hear, dude.
She can't hear us. Allison, you're gonna have to fix that. I don't know.
I got it.
You got it?
All right.
Allison.
Well, listen,
all right, so the moon. All right, we just answered the moon. Go ahead.
It wouldn't even be something I would even
Francis, stop walking. You're killing me.
I can't help it. I have to. I've got something, but you don't want to know. But I've got chlamydia. I have to keep walking.
Okay. He's like a shark. Where'd he go?
I don't know. He's like a shark.
I would never have thought anything about it up until I read these things that it said would set fire to ourselves if we try to go there. And there's all these like radiation things that you can't get through. And I look at it and I think like, well, America did want to put one over. The CIA would want to put one over on the Russians at the time. So Yuri Gagarin probably flew into space, and then they just said, "Well, we went to the moon then."
Well, it's funny because Marcus once had a little lunar module and a Neil Armstrong. He said, "Look, Daddy," and I said, "Oh, that's so cute. Now you can pretend to go to the moon like NASA did."
Right.
Anyway, no, but okay, I'm just asking questions. I don't have an opinion here. But it's just
you do. You told me
you have an opinion.
I listen. I don't.
He's afraid to get
you
canceled.
told me we didn't go. What are you talking about?
Well, that's not an opinion. That's a fact.
Look, this I could agree to. None of us went to the moon.
None of us go. Yeah, but no. All right, come on. Hang on a second.
I believe we went to the moon.
I'm gonna go to the next one. I'm gonna go to the next one.
Hey, Allison's got an opinion.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. This is what I want to know. And this is the most damning, because I was just having this conversation with a friend of mine who was like, he's pretty open on conspiracy. He believes in a lot of stuff, but he believes we went to the moon. And I'm like, okay, think about it. In the 60s, this janky little module, which somehow a rover was able to fit in it, and I don't know how they were able to fit that in it and then put it back in, they were able to hold enough gas or fuel to get all the way from the Earth to the moon and then back. That in itself, do you know how much fuel that would actually be? So there's that number one. And number two, now what they claim, this is what they claim. Why haven't we been back to the moon?
Well, they say we're going.
Lost the technology.
Yeah, no, there's all kinds of stuff. Look, they said that what was the Playtex allegedly made the spacesuits, but they lost the formula. Now, hang on a second. Now, guys, I saw the lunar module when I was in kindergarten. I went to some space exhibit, and I remember looking at my mom and saying, "Is that Jiffy Pop?" It literally looked like the Jiffy Pop thing. So we just need to be asking questions. Now, guys, who here believes that a lone gunman shot JFK?
I think the CIA got him.
All right. See, Francis goes, Elliot, what's going on? Let's send Elliot. If you're around a little bit, are you on your truck? Are you on your thing? Let's find out if Elliot, we're going to have him come on after we have more space on the screen. All right. And hello, Elliot. Now, guys, the next question is 9/11. Did it happen exactly how they told us? If you had to push a button, Ian, if you had to push a button that said it happened the way they said, or something sinister is afoot, and your life depended on it, which button would you push?
It happened the way they said.
Come on. You're one of the smartest.
The reason he says that, though, is because he liked his parents. People it's all down to your parents. Like, if people believe in things, like if people want to believe the good about them, he doesn't, like, I think Ian, right? He wants to believe his parents didn't have sex. It's like for them type of people. But I know that my dad, give my mum a pasting, so it isn't, it's so I think there's a correlation between people who don't want to think bad about their parents to the people who don't want to think bad about the government.
See, Francis, I think in my case, I don't think you could be more wrong. I grew up surrounded by pornography.
By the way,
well, maybe it devastated you that much that you can't handle any bad thoughts anymore. Maybe there's
that could be it.
So, Francis, I was in a place called Tunbridge Wells. You know where it is?
Yeah, it's in England.
Yeah. So we went to see the band Wheatus and hang out with them. We had all access passes, and the road manager asked me if Kelly, John, and Danny were my kids. Danny's Francis's grandnephew, and I said no, but I shagged his mom. And then after we left, Danny said it would have been better if you said you shagged my dad. I said, but I did. Anyway, so this is the thing, right? What I love about that comedian is, like, look, there's a thing, a friend of mine who's a really wealthy guy, like wealthy, like high level, old money. And he grew up in the Bohemian Grove, all that stuff. He was part of those secret societies. And he said there's a study that shows after the Kennedy assassination, the word conspiracy theorist grew 10,000-fold in the press. And now when I watch movies and TV, I'm like, what are they getting at? And I'm not saying I believe in all conspiracy theories, but to say something's a conspiracy theory and then let that be the dividing line is like you're outsourcing your critical thinking, as a friend of Sheila's once said.
Let me rewind a little bit. So you get to 9/11, right? You asked me two choices. There's way more than two choices.
Oh, absolutely. But what I asked you was,
there's always something. Yes, there's always something afoot. You're never getting the whole truth in anything. Do you ever tell the whole truth?
Well, it depends on who I'm talking to. Certainly not on this show.
But here's the thing, right, Ian, is that the CIA's job is to make sure there's always war. That's what they do, because they feed the military machine, right? So they need to make sure we're always at war in some shape or form. And so Dick Cheney and the boys went into, they wanted to get, he made $30 billion in his first year there, Dick Cheney, with the Halliburton stuff. It's like, it's if you think somebody's going to trample somebody to death to take $75 off a TV at Christmas at the sales, imagine what they'd do for like 3 trillion.
By the way, I like the fact that he called it Halliburton, like an Englishman. I've never heard that
Halliburton.
company not sounds. It just doesn't sound sinister when you say it. It's kind of like
Halliburton,
I thought
everybody,
it was a guy.
Halliburton.
I thought it was a guy, Hallie Burton.
It's related to Halliburton. All right, so check this out. This is actually, I'm going to tell you something. I don't like Dick Cheney. I think he's an evil scumbag, but he said the greatest thing. He was in a debate with who's the vice president when
Mariah Carey.
no, come on.
And Mariah
The,
Carey was never the vice president.
Come on, I've met him. He lives in my neighborhood. He literally lives. He's from Connecticut. But he lives in my neighborhood. Come on, Joe Lieberman. He's in a debate with Joe Lieberman, and you need justification to get all that oil, so you start a war. Plus, us Americans, we love to kill. That's Elliot, by the way. He's usually on with us. He's going to be on a little later. Check this out. He's on. What's going on? How are you, Denise? So he basically said, Joe Lieberman said about his wife, he said to Dick Cheney in the debate, he said, Hadassah saw your tax returns and she's encouraging me to go into the private sector. And Dick Cheney said, I'm going to help you do that, Joe. Which was great for an election. And then we battled over that election for 70 days. But look, so where is the line? I know, but for real, where is the line on conspiracy theories? Because
look, you can basically say, right? You can basically say that we just don't get told truth. Like even going back as far as back in the Roman times, Caesar used to have people on the markets, finding out what the people were saying.
Oh,
it's a complete, all the Machiavellian stuff and all that. It's all just about power and control. When people get so much money, they don't give a shit about money anymore. It's control they go for after that. Mm-hmm. So like you get somebody like Putin or, that psychopath from North Korea or, any of those guys, they get to a point where money just doesn't do it for you anymore. And so they go for other things. Like Bill Gates wants to, control the weather. They start like getting that God complex. We want to control the weather. We're the weather. I can control the weather. It's me. It's like warped egos. And so people will do anything.
Hold on, where are you going?
What was that?
What?
I know. Where you are.
Where are you going?
I've told you I've got chlamydia. I have to keep walking.
You're interesting as shit, but this chlamydia is freaking me
I'm
out.
outside. I'm going to put some wood on now.
All right, listen, he's got a Woody. No, but I agree with him. And it really, so now the latest thing is they're going to start burying chlorofluorocarbons underground. So instead of trying to shoot out into space, they're going to put it underneath the earth. So I don't know. It's guys.
Here's my.
So the Earth is going to fart.
Yeah, we're going to bury the farts.
We're going to bury the Earth is going to fart.
It's a fart locker
instead of a volcano.
And by the way, just so you know, it's going to come out of Erie, Pennsylvania. Go ahead. So, all right, Ian, go ahead. We're with you, man. We're with you.
I'm sorry. I'm fascinated by Francis.
Dude, he's got a wood burning. Hey, I want to tell you something. Guys,
light my fire.
You know what I did in that fire, in that wood burning stove right there, guys? I took 20, how many years of journals was it? 26, Francis?
Yeah, you did.
I took 26 years of handwritten journals every morning and I burned them in that wood burning stove. And you remember what my mantra was? And I got this from Mike Tyson. I said, this guy created this guy, so this guy could kill that guy. I said it before I put remember that?
Yeah,
like, dude, that was deep. And it was deep. It was like a ritual. And the reason I did that with Francis is because Francis is the one who encouraged me to write in my journal. And one day he called me. He said, Eric, did you write in your journal this morning? And I didn't. I said, yeah, I wrote in my journal. He said, what did it say? You can't fucking ask me that. It's like that's like peeking through my bathroom door, man. That's crazy.
It said terrible things.
It said terrible.
He called you out. So you burned 26 years of your journals?
26 years of journals. I mean, I read through them. I'll tell you what I took out. I took out the death of my parents. I took out the death of my sister, and I took out the World Trade Center attacks. And what I believed the day after the World Trade Center was attacked, compared to what I believe now, that guy helped create this guy, so this guy could kill that guy. Mm-hmm. And I got that mantra from Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was being interviewed by Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson
Mike's a Cancerian as well. He's like you. He's got one of them, like, you know, he was born on a wild horse as well. Me and Eric were born on a wild horse, weren't we, lad?
By the way, Ian and I grew up together. We were. He knows I was born on a wild horse, but that's a really. Tell him about the wild horse theory.
Wild horses.
Tell us about the wild horse theory, Francis.
Well, it's just, you know, some people are born on the earth and they have like nice parents and they don't have any problems. So, you know, I grew up and you know, it's like my parents were like alcoholics, and I'm like, you know, I'm not told to do my homework, and I would stay out till like 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm like 10, and all this stuff, and then they're expecting me to like go to college and all that stuff. It's like, what do you think I'm going to do? I was born, and so I'm shackled to this wild horse, and I'm carrying it around all my life. Everywhere I go, I've got the wild horse with me all the time, and I still haven't got on its back. I'm still trying to. I've calmed it down a bit. But it's still like I've got to be careful with it, otherwise it just gets me into trouble all the time.
Yeah, totally.
And it's so that, but I've forgiven myself for the wild horse because I realised that it's.
Oh, horse! I thought you were talking about horse. I'm sorry.
You were born on a wild horse.
Just like, you know, just imagine being born in and you've got a wild horse next to you. You've got to keep hold of it and you have to take it everywhere you go, and it can just go berserk at any point. Well,
I grew up with Eric. That was him down the block.
Mike Tyson's horse. What?
He said he grew up with Eric. I was his wild horse.
He was. He beat me up the first time I met him.
That's right.
I was 6.
He was 6. I just switched.
Punched me in the face like an adult.
Yeah, well, it's.
I feel like it's the Brady Bunch. Hi, Eric.
Hi, Eric. It's like, yeah, no, but it's true. But the thing is, so what Mike Tyson said, which I was fascinated by, he was on Joe Rogan and he was going to do that exhibition fight, and they had pictures of him hitting the bag. You know, the guy's a really fantastic athlete still. And Joe Rogan said to him, he said, Mike, he said, when you see that, do you think I was the highest paid, you know, athlete in the world? I was the youngest heavyweight champion, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, no. He goes, I do that for the cameras. And that's when he said, well, why don't you, like, you know, kind of lament or really, you know, like bask in that? He said, that guy created this guy so this guy could kill that guy. And I thought that was one of the most profound things I'd ever heard. Like,
that
period.
Is a good line.
It will think about his trajectory, right? The maniac, as he refined it with practices, he's a profound man. You know, people are going to talk about his, you know, I mean,
He's a profound man.
He's a profound man. He says profound things, and it's like he was born on a wild horse, and now that he's tamed the horse, for the most part, it's pretty. You know, there's it's like that Rumi poem, right? The chickpea to the cook. The chickpea jumps out of the pot where he's being boiled, and the chef hits him with a skimming spoon. He says, "Get back in there." He said, "You think I'm torturing you, but I'm giving you flavor to be someone's delight," and that's what that boiling was of Mike Tyson. Wow,
Yeah.
I feel like a hippie right now, guys.
Yeah, you're good.
You are a hippie. You've ruined the entire show with that whole philosophical thing. We were doing all right there for a minute.
We're doing better when Francis walks.
All right, listen. Okay, so how about the vaccine?
Let me tell you about the vaccine. You want to know about the vaccine?
Okay.
The vaccine's the biggest scam that since 9/11. It was absolutely disgusting what they did.
Wait, by the way, you just said since 9/11.
It was absolutely disgusting. And I told them I used to fight with people online, and I told them all, and it ends up, and I was right all along, because they're absolutely, them drug companies, that they're not in the health game. They're in the sickness game. If you're not sick, they've got no money. So they're poisoning you with the Food and Drug Administration, and then they're medicating you for the poison they're giving you. And that's just how it is. And because they're starting to ban foods in Italy, and they're banning foods in Australia and Japan that come from America, because it's disgusting what they're giving to us. And the drug is sugar. It's sugar. Everybody's on sugar.
Think about the history of sugar, by the way. The history of sugar is evil at its inception. You know, the word slave comes from the word Slavic. It used to be little blonde people that would be captured and worked in kitchens. And the African slave became important when the sugar plantations started booming. So it's evil what it's done to African slaves, right? The whole history from that point on was terrible. It poisons us. Oh my God. It's like, it's unbelievable. And then we've made it like the most affordable thing in the world. A doctor 200 years ago would give you a cube of sugar for medicinal purposes if you were rich, or like 300 years ago. And now it's like everything has sugar in it. So I agree with that.
Dreadful, dude. It's like, and I don't listen. I have a bee in my bonnet about this stuff because I just think you go to the doctors and they just want to put you on tablets. I went there once, right? I remember I was having like a weird thing, and I went to the doctors and he said like, he said you've got like a chronic heartburn or something or acid on your stomach, and he gave me these tablets. And I said, how long do I take them for? And he said, well, forever. And I said, well, should I not just stop eating Doritos? And he said, well, you can if you want, but you should take these tablets anyway. Liz went to the doctors last week, and they're on about like high blood pressures or something with the blood. I can't remember what it was. And it come back all clear. He said, I still want you to take them. It's like, what are you talking about? There's nothing wrong with it, you psychopath.
Well, Ian's up to something no good. Ian's looking at his computer. He's doing some kind of research. He's trying to blow us up.
I just sent you a text.
Uh-huh.
I was changing sides. I just sent you a text.
I don't think you're wrong to do things about me, Ian.
I was driving through Vietnam. I just sent you a text, Eric, so you could share it if you want. And there was a woman selling dog meat on the street that I got a picture of.
Listen, I dated a woman. Let me see. So you want to show the picture of her? Oh no.
Well, what I want to say is through, and this is where I was going to go on before. Through all the bull crap and the conspiracy theories and everything, and everyone getting all worked up, we all have a pretty good freaking life.
I agree.
Just
no. Hang on a second.
Slide
I agree
with it.
But hang on. But
I like being lied to.
But
it's not a conspiracy theory. It's the truth.
Ian,
I'm not saying it's a conspiracy.
But Ian, I'm going to tell you something.
But I don't care.
I'm not going to tell you who said this, but somebody close to me said, the world is getting better. And my answer was, well, say that to a black man who had to work on, go on the back of the bus, 50 years ago. I said this in the 80s, right? And you have a pretty good life. And I have everyone on this call, I know you guys, we all have had a good life.
People with bad lives aren't complaining about everything going on.
There are people starving in the ghetto. Dude, we're poisoning people in the ghettos. They are poison. Dude, you can't, if you go for a bottle of water, I lived in the ghetto. I lived in Sunset Park, Brooklyn before it started coming up. If you wanted to get a bottle of water, you had to wade through potato chips, fruit drinks, soda pop, and in the back of the deli, there's a little case of water.
Yeah, but you know what?
It's called, hold on, that's called capitalism.
No. Okay,
you like capitalism. Big babies. You don't like big babies in America. It's like you're like a bunch of wussies. It's like you're always going on about, well, we didn't have this. It's like brought up where we were brought up on them English housing estates. We didn't have a car. We didn't have a phone. We didn't have a TV. We weren't like poor. We were rich. We had the
walked everywhere. I can see that.
You just keep making shit up, so as if it's like, oh, I've got this terrible life. And it's like all these people on welfare with like iPhones and all sorts. It's like, dude,
but they're being killed. But they're being toxified. I mean,
they're being poisoned, though.
They're being poisoned on purpose because
we're all
they
being
make
poisoned on purpose. We all are.
Yeah. Well, that's a problem. That's not a flip thing to say. I mean, that's.
No, but this whole concept about we're all like, it's all terrible and all. It isn't. It's like I'm really agreeing with Ian. But it's like you got to take responsibility for your own shit. It's like
I have a great
100%.
life. I have a great life, but guys, when people have had there are people who have lived under dictatorial rule for centuries, right? This is like
we have dictatorial well, by the way.
What was that?
You pulled off the word dictatorial very well.
Well, I'm eruditious after all. Woo. Anyway, I'm throwing around words, but look, I'm not saying that I don't have a good life, but at what point does the nefarious nature of what's being done become? By the way, did anybody see that Tesla truck with the armed people in it? Holy
Cybertruck.
Did you guys see this? Tesla has robots with guns and Cybertrucks that shoot back. It's like, I don't know what the hell's going on. All right,
that won't be long either. But the thing is,
hold on.
There are genuinely people out there. There's people out there who are genuine, like people like kids with cancer and stuff like that. There's like people who are being, like that. There are genuinely people like that. But the people complaining about shit, they're not them. That's not them. They're just idiots going on about their life. You can make your life better just by changing your attitude towards it. I could tell you here right now. Look at my basement. I could tell you, look at this. Look, I could say I live in a hovel. I live in terrible things. It's awful.
No, that's the thing. We're not talking about us because we are actually somewhat like aware and can avoid like the most toxic things. We're talking about the fact that in food ghettos. We're talking about the people, the kids
I
with
grew up in
cancer.
that, too.
Do you know
That's what
why
I
the
grew
kid
up
has
in.
cancer? Because of the poisons they've been eating since they were.
No, this is getting serious, guys. We got to do something funny.
I grew up in that shit. I grew up in it.
We're trying to stand up for the people that actually aren't able to like figure out stuff for themselves because it's so overwhelming. I mean, they're literally given nothing to eat that's actually good for them. They're being told by the medical system the exact opposite of what's good for them.
I agree with you. I couldn't agree more.
It's
Couldn't agree more.
But
infiltrated.
again, this
So
is,
we're
but
trying
we're
to stand up for
capitalists.
those.
Yeah,
But-
hang on a
but
second.
there's
We have to
capitalism.
make
hang
money.
on, hang on,
Can't blame
hang on. Wait,
capitalism.
stop. Hang on a
Yes.
second. We have
I'm not blaming capitalism.
No,
It's part
Ian,
of it.
Ian, we
We're
have not.
selling goods.
We have not. That's bullshit. The
That's not.
pharmaceutical companies and the food companies in
Are
this
into
country,
making money.
this-
They're
okay,
capitalists.
this is no, it's corporatism
It's
because they're
rigged.
propped up by our government.
Yes, it's
This
rigged.
is not free market stuff.
No,
this
it
is
certainly isn't.
this is. Come on, Ian knows this. Look.
No,
You know this.
Free markets win. Free
We-
markets
this is-
go-
This isn't a
there's
free
always going to
market.
be a
So
winner.
It's rigged by the
so
government.
you think what happened with the vaccines and us being told we have to take them and them choosing who's going to make them, that's capitalism? That's a complete rigged
That's
system.
fascism.
I said there's always going to be a winner.
The
I was just-
I'm not
government,
blaming
you can't,
capitalism. It's
you
just it's a
can't,
fact.
the
I'm a
government,
capitalist.
but in capitalism, the government has to be out of the equation.
Out of it. Yeah, totally. Markets have to rule. So we haven't seen capitalism in this country, if ever. We haven't seen it since like Rockefeller kind of did like a vertical monopoly because he owned the oil wells, the refineries, and the trains that shipped the, you know what I mean? Like that was
And
kind
the
of the
Fed.
end. That was kind of, and the Federal Reserve.
I
Oh
want a
boy.
t-shirt and the Fed.
By the way, we're going to hell right now. You guys understand that all of my left-wing friends are canceling me.
Hi.
They're gonna, Ian, quick, say something left-wing. Help. Say something left-wing that I can stick up for you over.
The
Hold
only
on.
way you get answers to
Chris
life is to
Limacher.
look at
Here it is.
the
Don't
only-
forget you're white, Eric.
Don't forget it. Yeah.
the only way true answers you'll get in life is to look at nature, because the rest of all the shit is made up. Humans made it up, and the answer to is nature. There's no socialism in nature. There's no communism in nature. The bees, even in the hive, don't answer to a leader. They just do their own thing because they know who they are. And
They're
so
insane.
any left-wing people, any socialist people, anything like that, are talking through their ass because, and I'm not a Republican either, I'm nothing, but they're talking through their ass because in nature, there isn't any of that. And so I would follow what nature does, and that's self-reliance and taking care of your own stuff. That's how it is for me.
Hold on. The bees do
Libertarian.
have a hierarchy, Francis.
Well, they have
don't.
a
No, they
queen.
Hey,
They,
E.
no, we called it a queen. It doesn't know it's a queen. It doesn't go around and go, I'm a fucking queen.
Dude, by the way,
We
by
made
the
it
way,
up. We made that shit up and projected it onto the bees.
by the way, but I
You
got
win.
listen, just so you know, Ian, when Queen
Yeah.
Elizabeth died, I thought it was funny. I put, if you remember Freddie Mercury, I said, I hate to break it to y'all, the Queen died in 1992 on November 20th. And all of my English friends, which is many through Francis, they were all pissed at me. I was like, we made that up. She's not a queen. Her name is Liz.
Because they're idiots and they chose to be offended.
But so the queen bee, we named her the queen. That's right. I guarantee you that bee doesn't buzz queen. That's
There's no such thing as a queen bee. We made that up. There's one of them that lays the eggs. There's the drones that protect the hive, and then there's the ones that go out and get honey because they know who they are. That's what they call the Lord. When you're with the Lord, that's what the Christians said. I'm with the Lord. It means you know who you are. You're doing what you're supposed to do. The Hindus called it Dharma. It means an act of truth. There's something that we all do here. The bees are here to do the honey. That's what they're to go and collect the pollen. And they don't question it. Nobody tells them what to do. No, and so what happens is religion is for people who don't know who they are. And they look for some outside force to tell them what to do because they don't know, they haven't found their own Lord. They don't know their own authority or their own spiritual purpose here in that sense. And so they need a book to tell them. They need somebody to tell them what to do. And that's why they're dangerous.
I'll agree with you on.
people.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But listen, I want to tell you something. Francis, I realize he's not walking, Ian, he's floating. You're floating. By the way, there's no such thing as New Jersey and Pennsylvania either. Like we made that up. We made that up.
There's no borders. There's no anything. They're all made up. So that's why when you start fighting, there's no such thing as Jews or Palestinians. We made it all up. There's just humans.
There's just
all
humans.
these separations. The ego made them up. There's no such thing. They don't exist. And so that's why when you say fight for Israel or fight for Palestine, No, fight for peace, because they're both deluded. And you can keep going back and say, well, they did that first, and they did that, and they did that, and they did that, and they. There's no answer to that. You just, because the problem is, the heart of the matter is that they're deluded from day one, thinking they're Israelis or Palestinians. They're humans, and until they understand that, and they put these false flags around themselves because of some place they were born, and they think they own the land. We belong to the land. We don't own it. It's ridiculous. All that nonsense. And,
But by the way,
kings and queens and the border of Germany and Belgium, and it's like, what are you talking about?
By the way, that was a killer last 2 minutes.
that was a kid. Well, listen, I mean, look, that was very
No
good.
one's disagreeing with you.
No, you can't disagree with that. Look, I had a funny thing happen where I was working with some guys in Western Pennsylvania, and then some guys from Eastern Pennsylvania who worked for the same company came in. I said to this guy, I said, "Where in Pennsylvania are you from?" And he said, "I'm from New Jersey." And his friend said, "You can see," hey, dude, apparently you can see the "Welcome to Pennsylvania" sign from his backyard.
You can't.
Like literally, you look out and you see "Welcome to Pennsylvania" on the highway or wherever he lives. So, and you really, and then if you guys look at the Midwest, we literally drew the lines.
It's all like that. The whole world's like that. None of it's real. It's a complete, there's two worlds. There's one that's created by the human ego, and that's all the stuff. And that's why doctors and policemen, there's no such thing. We just made it all up. There's no such thing as the Pope or the Queen. We made shit up, and we just dressed people up with robes on and made them walk around like this and go like this. It's like, it's insane, dude. And then you want me to take them seriously? It's like, well, the Queen, you've got to bow to the Queen. Well, what am I bound to her for? like woman who sits on a throne and goes, "Oh, hello, how are you?" Like, what are you talking about? Psychopath. You don't even know who you are.
Her name is Liz, and they made that up too.
Dude, it's all just made up. And like when you find your nature, and when you find there's things that we do, you emulate the time of year you were born. So if you're born round about the time when in June when the bees are pollinating the flowers, you take on that characteristic like Geminis do. They're busy, or the busy bee thing, or you take on Leos, right? In the when all the plants of flowers are all in bloom and the world's at its most beautiful, then Leos take on that quality. And we have that in us. But we made all the other stuff up.
We made it
It's
up.
just made up. It's all just made up. There's no such thing as Eric Miranda. That's everything's just made up.
So should I call this the made up show?
The made up show, we're making it up. But
We are making it up.
We are making it. Okay, so then I guess the question that I have at this point is we're looking at The Matrix, George Lujack, The Matrix. It's very true. So I guess the question I have is this: okay, so we have the CIA and all these weird things going on, that the nefarious things, and then we have the drug companies controlling us, we have the poison. What is your stance? Well, everybody tell me what your stance is. Do we worry about it, or do we just move forward and enjoy ourselves? Do we try to fix it, or do we let it be? That's the question.
You know where I stand.
Yeah, but you have children, so I don't believe you stand there, because I believe that you worry about the future for your children.
Yes, I do.
All right, so
well, in the sense that the entire everything at the base of it all, and you can say this is spiritual, or you could say this is just pure physics, is energy. We absolutely can do something about it, but going out and like fighting against, like, oh my God, my school, my alma mater has this thing now, this stance on anti-racism. And I think, of course, racism is abhorrent, but anti-racism is just like negative. The fact is you need to create your own universe through your own energy by literally just being what you want to see. You can create, like, you're right. We have an incredible life. I know I don't know all of you that well, but I know we all have incredible life. I don't think that fighting against the system actually works. That is my stance.
Thank you, Allison.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what? Everything she says is I agree with.
I agree. Look, the other thing is you can't war your way into peace, right?
No.
Like whenever we try to like make world peace by starting wars, how the hell is that going to work?
And it doesn't work on a small level either. I mean,
right.
And
100%.
you like just not be at war with yourself. If
I-
everyone could do that, then honestly, the world would be a phenomenal place.
Right.
The
So
world,
George,
the social world is destined to, it's a God-run amok. It's starting to invert on itself, and it's going to destroy itself because there's two energies to the ego. One of them is to dominate nature. That's one of them. And because behind, like when you meditate, behind your thoughts, there's a background to it. There's a real peace behind your thoughts, and your ego's going on at the front like, but behind that, there's a great peace. And so the ego wants to dominate everything, to try and dominate nature, but it also has another urge to kill itself so that it can get back to that peace. It's trying to destroy itself, and so the ego will. The society we're in the makings of it now as the breakdown of society, and the only way that you'll come out of it, it probably won't happen until like another 20 years. But when we've been through this scientific period that we're about to enter now, as society collapses and we go into the new world, there's the only way forward for us, if you want to, is to integrate with nature. There's no other way, because that thing's been there for 13, 14 billion years, and we've been here for a relatively short time, and we're trying to, it's like we're trying to pretend we can alter, we can dominate it and all that stuff. If you don't integrate with it, we're done, and that's
Right.
it. That's the way.
So I keep seeing George Lujak put up the serenity prayer. So he says, God grant me the serenity, accept things I cannot change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. So is that where we're at? Do we need to do the serenity prayer to figure out what we're capable of changing and accepting what we can? Is that it?
I don't think I need to do the prayer to accept that, but yeah, sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can put, you need prayer for a lot.
I would just say, like, concentrate on yourself, because
That's what I was about to
it's
say.
like,
yeah.
that's what I agree with what she said, is because concentrate on yourself and become the thing that you want the world to be. That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
You make a
It's the
stand for
only
it.
thing you have power over.
Yeah, don't
So
start
when Eric-
blaming people or pointing your finger and telling them that this. You become it. You start there. So, that's the way it is. Like, I'll just do it myself and don't tell everybody else what to do. Leave them alone.
And also, there's a certain hubris to thinking you know what's wrong with the world and what needs to be changed. It's
Exactly.
so the mote in somebody else's eye and the beam in your own eye. You always have to go back to yourself. That's the only thing that's valid that you can absolutely change.
Yeah.
I have no right to tell anybody what to do, because you know why? I've got that much shit of my own.
Francis,
By the time I get through with it, there won't be any. I'll start on yours after I've finished mine. But right now, I'm not even 1% through my shit. So I'll keep on that.
listen, Francis, I've worked with you on tour, in the studio. You're good at telling people what to do. I'm just kidding. Totally
I'm
joking.
always right.
Yeah, he's always right. Listen, I was saying music. You are no. Look, when I say prayer, look, the thing I do have to say this about prayer. People, there's this thing. Everything's a battle now. Everything's like, I'm religious. I'm not religious. I'm this. I'm right. I'm left. I'm anti-vax.
Battle. Just do what you want to do.
No. I'm just saying, like, when you look at the ancient prayers, the St. Francis prayer, the Serenity prayer, there's it was probably like good sense that created those prayers. That's why I like them. It doesn't necessarily have to be divine. It's just that, because what am I going to make up? God grant me the serenity to overeat. God grant me the serenity to eat chips.
I'm gonna what Allison said before reminded me of a George Carlin quote. Was it fighting for peace is like screwing for virginity?
Right? No, that's perfect. That really, I mean, again, that's the deal right there. I mean, people just the idea that you're going to stop violence with violence, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, none whatsoever.
The idea that you're arrogant enough to think that you could actually do something, just if you and Francis and Allison said it very, very well.
Look,
right. Do control your own world. Try and influence those around you, and maybe they'll follow. I'm sick of fighting with everyone.
No, listen,
I'm sick of hearing everyone's fucking opinions.
Yeah,
I am my language.
No. Honestly, it's so exhausting when people start with no matter what it is, like, you can't say anything, or I can't seem to say anything without people deciding they know what side I'm on, and there's no sides. It's just like New York, New
No.
Jersey, and Connecticut. It's like we
Like
made
Francis
it
said,
up.
there's no such, there's no
There's-
people.
That's it.
But-
There's just people.
But I seem to know a lot of experts. I didn't know them most of my life, but then social media happened. And all my friends became scientists,
They're
religious,
all, dude, they're amazing.
politicians.
So did I just,
I guess I did too.
you did? What do you, what,
I don't know. I'm fighting for peace, screwing
right.
for virginity.
but if you're fighting for peace,
I'm fighting
I'm not
for
really fighting.
peas.
you know, I
Peace.
want
You know
I'm
what I
fighting
do,
for
right?
peace.
You-
Thank you,
you-
Allison.
You know, the
Fighting for
Fighting for
biggest
peace.
thing I do, right, in the world, and this isn't like a moral thing or anything like that. It's a selfish thing because I don't like the effects of it, but of the opposite. But I just try not to dislike anybody. So if I dislike somebody, I think there's something wrong with me, and so I try to find out what it is about them that I don't like, and then I think it, and then I just use them as a mechanism to find out what's fucked up about me. Because if I
See,
didn't
I
have it
enjoy
in me, I
disliking
wouldn't know-
people.
if I didn't have it in me, I wouldn't know what it was. And so I look at them and I go, that fucking big, fat, fucking horrible bastard or whatever it is I'm doing. And then I can identify it on the outside. And then I'll call it home and I'll go, yeah. I know exactly where I do that. Because I can't afford to not like people because it puts my mojo in the toilet. So that's why I'm a selfish bastard.
So I'm going to tell you a story.
Well, that's the energy part.
Yeah.
so
That's
I-
maintaining your energy. Sorry.
When
there.
No, all good, all good. When I first moved to Avenue B in the East Village, I had a room in an apartment. It was a 2-bedroom, and with a queen size bed and a single piece of furniture, there was a little square that you would have to step in, no matter who you were. For the 150 years the building was there, and thank you, Flugmacher. So anyway, I would come home from a gig at Brownies, wherever I was playing, and I would step on this thing, and the floor would go squeak, and the woman downstairs would blast her stereo at 1 a.m. Didn't care about anybody else in the building. She was going to get at me. She'd hit the ceiling with the broom, and she'd start cussing me out in Spanish. And I called Francis one day. He said, "What's going on, Eric?" I said, "The fucking junkie downstairs, I'm going to kill her." He says, "Eric, you need to kill the junkie inside of you." So the next time it happened, she started banging and blasting her music, and I just did like a little soft shoe dance. I just decided I was never going to let this woman get to me again. Well, fast forward 2 or 3 years, she stopped bothering me. One day she comes to her door as I'm coming up the stairs. She says, "Puppy," and she's got blood all over her. I don't know if she had a surgery that popped, somebody stabbed her. I literally put her over my shoulder, ran her down to a cab, and took her to Bellevue. And I never thought about it again. Years later, I was with Marcus, Kelly, John, and Sheila, and she walks up to me in the street. Now her kids, who she had, were grown. And she's like, "Oh, you remember Papi? He saved my life. You're my hero." And they're like, "Oh." And I was like a hero. I didn't even think about it. And this is a woman who I wanted to kill, and I became a hero because I killed the junkie that was inside of me. It was literally, I said, "I can't stand the screaming junkie. Eric, you need to deal with the screaming junkie inside yourself." That's exactly what you said to me. And I wanted to kill you too. But it's just true. It's like you let go and it goes away. Like it's like as soon as you engage in that thing, I'm right, you're wrong. It just gets
Dude,
worse.
I'm too old to dislike people. I can't take it anymore. I'm not doing it. I refuse to do it to myself. If somebody's bothering me, then there's just something wrong with me, and I don't care what they do. They can do whatever they want. I just can't afford to hate people. I've done it before, and it's just not good, dude.
Yeah,
not good. I don't like it.
And now it's just who has time for it? Like honestly, it's like you got to forgive people. Wow, we sound religious, folks. This has been like a real hippie show.
I'm very
It's
busy.
easy to be a hero in a book.
It's easy to what?
It's easy to be a hero in a book.
It's it's easy to be a hero in a book. But have you been a hero in real life?
Yeah, a few times.
Ian, aren't you the guy that set fire to a llama?
That wasn't me. I had a llama throw up on me one time.
Didn't you tell me it was Ian, Eddie?
No, fire. No, Ian. No, Ian just shows up in Chris Flugmacher's fantasies.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Ian.
Flumacher guy doesn't like me and Alison. He only liked you two.
No, Flugmacher's
he loves
good.
us.
He just knows it. He's
We're
the
an
guy.
acquired taste. Sorry,
He's
Frank.
Yeah.
no, you guys are well, he doesn't know you. It's hard for him to tell how genuine you are. But Flugmacher's the guy who, when I was trolling in his apartment, grabbed my junk and said,
Yeah.
Miranda, you ever gonna troll in my apartment again? Other people and I looked at him, and he's a big guy, and I said, no, I don't think I'm ever gonna take my penis out anywhere ever again. So anyway,
Francis,
So-
he held it a long time.
he held it a long time, and I was just like stunned, and there was other people in the room, and everybody's just like watching him hold my penis.
Right, I'm going to have to go now because you're going to start talking about Jimmy Page next. I can tell. So I'm
No,
gonna
it's
go.
no Jimmy Page. So I just want to tell you, Francis, fast forward 20 something years, 30 years. I'm sitting on my couch. I click to answer Flugmacher's call. Kelly, John, Sheila, and Marcus are in the living room. He goes, hey, Miranda, I just want to tell you, I was thinking about it. Yours, mine, and my son's penis are the only penises I've ever had in my hand in my life. and I'm just looking at them anyway. So, all right, you're gonna go, Francis. You're gonna leave us.
I'm going to go because
You know, we're gonna
Alison
talk.
doesn't like me. That Ian doesn't like me either, and that Flumaker doesn't like me. So I'm going to go.
I like you, Francis.
We
I
like
don't like you. I love you.
he loves you.
Yeah.
By the way,
I like you better when you're walking, though.
dude, that was flotation. Chris Flugmacher, that was flotation. So,
Floating.
but by the way,
listen,
I want to say this.
I'm a regular now on the Miranda show.
Yeah, so-
He calls me every week now and says, like, Francis, come on the show. I'm like, Eric, I can't. I've got things to do. I'm meeting the Queen next week. And he's like, you got to come on the show, man.
I'm meeting the Queen.
Yeah.
By the way, I just want to say this about Francis's ghetto that he grew up in. It is amazing because it's poor. I've seen where you grew up, but it's also the most beautiful landscape you've
It is.
ever. It's like gorgeous. So it kind of like be like putting like the projects in East New York, like in the mountains of Colorado.
That's exactly right. Yes.
It's like kind of phenomenal. So you kind of like, wow, I wouldn't mind living here.
It's a different type of poverty, though. It's more like train spotting, like in them council house estates. They're tough places to grow up. They're weird, and we had nothing. We didn't have anything. But we didn't know we didn't have anything. So it didn't make any difference. Like we didn't know. I didn't know I was poor until I went to Beverly Hills.
At the next stop, by the way, this is from Sheila. She's sending Francis a heart.
Heart. Oh.
Thank you,
Oh.
Sheila. At least Sheila likes me. Thanks,
By the
Sheila.
way, so Sheila's initials are SOS, so she's Socrates. Is that? Do I have that right, honey?
Socrates.
Socrates.
Socrates. Okay.
Hey, by
But
the way,
listen, you guys, listen. Have a great. I hope you have a great rest of the show. It's been a pleasure to see you all. Nice to meet you both again, and I will look forward to seeing you the next time. But have a great show, right? And
you know, if you leave, we're going to talk shit about you, right?
I don't
Yeah.
care. Love, peace, and cash. That'll be more. That says more about you than it does about me, Miranda.
All right. Love you, man. Thanks, Francis.
Love you guys.
Thanks,
See you in a
Francis.
minute. Thank you.
See you. All right, Allison, can we make fun of you for being a model?
Mhm.
Okay,
let,
Allison.
let Allison speak for a minute. Allison, take over the show.
I don't-
No pressure.
I'll just start singing the Donnie and Marie theme song.
How did
Okay.
that go again?
May tomorrow be a perfect day. May you find love and laughter along the way. May God keep you in his tender care till he brings us together again.
Wait.
Good night,
Donnie,
everybody.
Donnie
I don't
Marie.
remember any of that.
Donnie
It was
Marie.
the end of the Donnie and Marie show.
I
Wait,
never
they
made
were.
it that far.
Are
They
we?
were-
Are we at the end of the show? Or are you
No,
wait?
not yet. Wait, let me ask you. Wait. Donnie and Marie
No.
were gay. So anyway, so all right, guys. But no, listen. I'm glad we started with the conspiracy theories, and really, ultimately, my opinions on those things don't matter as much as I guess I get frustrated when it's kind of like when somebody says the schools need more money. It's like in a lot of cases they do, but it's like just because it's the schools and kids doesn't mean the money's appropriate, right? If we call it conspiracy theories, suddenly it's Allison, that was amazing. You know what I mean? Like, so what? It's like weird. Words have power, but they also have manipulative power, and I guess that's my concern. That that comedian just makes a great point. All conspiracy, is it all wrong? So that means if somebody says something, and there's truth behind it, and someone says it's a conspiracy theory, whoever shouts louder and gets it labeled a conspiracy theory wins because then it's mitigated as nonsense, and that's dangerous.
Well, the term itself is so interesting and how it's been, because basically everything is a theory. Everything is a theory.
Oh, like Francis said, it was all fake.
No, it's all.
So everything's a theory.
Basically, even the science that they're spouting it's all theories. Everything is evolving. All knowledge, all human endeavor is evolving. So everything is a theory. So it's so interesting that they take that word and they've turned it into something that's negative. Like a conspiracy theory is always a derogatory term that, of course, we know that the CIA invented the term.
Right. Well, that was my friend Tim's, whole thing. There was a study on it, how after the assassination of JFK, the term conspiracy theory just 10,000-fold within a year in the press. It was like an unknown term.
It was being fed into the system.
Well, and just think about the word conspiracy, right? You can conspire to do good things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that in one of the Christmas carols?
But any plan is a conspiracy.
Right. So
I'm creating conspiracy to go to the supermarket.
I think it means amongst, like it's a little cabal of
you conspire to
cabal.
You conspire.
We're going to go to the supermarket.
Yeah, we can conspire to go to the supermarket. We conspire to throw even like to collude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Collusion. I'm a collusion theorist. But so the danger is
they've weaponized the term.
They've weaponized the term.
Yeah.
So what happens is, like, look, obviously everything we're talking about, moon, there's probably an in between on a lot of this stuff, right? Like it's never
went halfway to the moon.
Right. Well, yeah, that was I
have a question because Allison's used this term a bunch. They. Aren't they? We all they. It depends what side you're on. You're they.
There's no side.
I understand that.
No. There is a
they, then there's a side.
Well, when I say the CIA, that's a they.
That's a they. Yeah. That's a very specific they. They actually have salaries.
Or I could say that the pharmaceutical companies or something. There's theys. There's no one they.
Right. Wasn't there a soap opera called Days of Our Life?
Days of Our Life.
Actually, it was about trans people.
Days of Our Life. It's pretty good.
Days of Our Lives. But so I'm afraid I'm going to get canceled. Every time I say something now, I'm afraid I'm going to get canceled. As a matter of fact, Elliot didn't show up, and I need him. So when I talk about
the beginning,
he was here.
No, but I mean, I sent him a link to. Did he try to get in?
I don't know.
Yeah, no. Elliot, if you're watching, come see us. I just sent Sheila a link, and she said she's on the train, and I'm like, come on, man, get on the show.
I tried to get on a show from a plane one time.
You did. You were actually on for a second, or I at least saw your text.
Yeah, I couldn't get on. I had never good enough signal.
Was that when you were stuck on the plane? Was that when you were locked in, or was that the following week?
No, it was the following week. I think I was with Saudi Arabia when I was trying to get in. Some weird place. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Speaking of which, guys, there's all kinds of cool stuff going on in the news. I know we're running out of time. Apparently, Britney Spears' dad is getting his leg amputated. I don't know why. I don't know why that's interesting. What else is going on?
Taylor Swift came clean about Kanye.
What that he didn't?
Kanye and Kim ruined her life for a few years.
Yeah, she seemed like she was participating. You know what? I love Taylor Swift. I actually think she's a genius musically, but I don't believe a word she says. Right? And really, what was that?
They.
She's
part of they.
Wasn't it?
Well, she is dating Mr. Pfizer.
Oh yeah. Oh right. So now she's dealing with two little pricks. So no, but I don't look. They're too big. I actually, Dan Volkamer, I'm not sure if he's listening, but he used to say, Eric, if they're that big, they're corrupt. And I actually agree with that now. You can't be that big. You're not allowed to. If you're that big, there's a machine behind you. I'm sorry. I just don't believe it.
There's some baby's blood.
Oh, you're talking about fame and stuff.
Yeah. Once you get to, by the way, Norman Lear died. And
he
had
a good run.
He had a good run. He was like 101, but then
101.
Henry Winkler's paying tribute to him. It's like, okay, dude, shut up. Like, I love Henry Winkler in the series Barry, and obviously I love Happy Days, but you people are all didn't they? The one they're like boy rumors with him. Like he's like a Republican he's like a Republican who goes on like Jeffrey Epstein's plane. I don't know something.
Henry Winkler.
I'm making that up, but there's something sinister afoot.
You're studying a collusion theory.
By the way, Henry
Theorem.
Winkler.
Theorem.
He was on Jeffrey Epstein's plane that crashed into the World Trade Center.
Henry with the Fonz.
The Fonz. Have you guys seen the show Barry?
By the way,
Jumping the shark.
Barry's great. Henry Winkler actually knocked down the World Trade Center. He walked up to him and went,
Hey.
Hey.
"Oh, think about that."
By the way,
He's great in Barry.
he's great in Barry. Gene Cousineau.
I haven't seen Barry.
Barry
Barry's
is
a really good show.
it's just so it's funny, it's dark, it's hilarious. Bill Hader is so good that you can't believe it. There's a scene, but they did something really messed up. They had the plane flying in when the drug dealers were coming in, Ian, and they were playing John Denver.
Yeah.
And it was the exact same plane that he crashed into the mountain. I'm leaving.
I didn't catch that.
I'm like, I was looking it up. It's like literally the same Cessna that or whatever it was he bit the dust in. I did some research. So
Some brilliant, sinister writer.
there's just so many funny things in that movie. Like when
That show.
that show, when the like when they first meet Cristobal and they start talking about the 7 principles of success. And it's just like these guys.
It's a really good show.
It's really good.
It's how you
Really
can't
good
just
show.
explain that show.
No, you can't just explain. Also, have you guys seen
What channel is it on? Whatever.
I
HBO.
think it's HBO.
HBO
I
Max,
think
yeah.
I think also
I think it's HBO.
have you guys seen Atlanta?
No,
So
I've been there.
Donnie Glover, who's not related to Danny Glover. He did that Childish Gambino video.
Yeah.
He writes it. I believe he directs it. It is the most unique, out of this world show. The premise is he quits Princeton to manage his cousin's rap career. That's all I'm going to tell you. And you know the way like Family Guy or the Coen brothers will do a cutaway for 2.5 minutes? This guy will do a cutaway for 2 shows. Like not really, but for a whole show. You're just like, what is this? Unbelievable. So I can't believe I'm jocking Donnie Glover's
I
show.
know.
All right, what else? What else? We got
What else? News. Kissinger.
You got
Kissinger
3
died.
minutes.
Kissinger.
Do you think he's really dead?
No. He came
I
back
think
as
he
normal.
died 30 years ago.
No, he came
Was
back.
he ever alive?
You know, people keep telling me Elvis is still alive. I'm like, well, if he is, he died again. I mean, stop. You know, it's like somebody once said, dude, what do you think Jimi Hendrix would be doing if he was still alive? I said, he'd be dead. I mean, like at a certain point, they'd be 109. Stop. What year was
You
Elvis?
said you started to say Henry Kissinger came back or something, and I don't know why, and I don't think anyone else is going to find this funny, but I'm cracking myself up. I thought you were going to say Henry Kissinger came back as Norman Fell.
I was going to say Norman Lear, but Norman Fell's pretty good too.
That's pretty good.
Mr. Roper was a genius.
Mr.
I don't know why I got
Three's
Norman Fell in my head and I
company,
started to
too.
laugh internally. Come and knock
Wait,
on my door.
Susan
Someone
Summers
knock on
died?
my door.
So
Susan
Anyway.
Summers died. Speaking of Norman Fell.
Wait, Susan Summers died?
wait, Sheila
Yes,
just
a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Sheila just said the guy who directs Barry
Really?
also does Atlanta. That's amazing.
Whoa.
Yeah, now Sheila loved Atlanta. I don't think she saw Barry or didn't see all of it. She must. It's a must. See, I
I
first
must see.
saw it because I thought it was a conspiracy movie about Barack Obama.
Atlanta.
No, Barry.
Barry.
It was a joke.
Barry and Michael.
Well,
Stop. Wait, come on. Now you're Wait, what? Dan Volkman, what did I miss? Did you tell everyone that there's no such thing as a virus yet? Well, Francis Dunnery ranted and raved about how ridiculous the vaccine was and that it was the biggest. What did he say? He said it was the biggest thing perpetrated on the U.S. since 9/11. So he actually knocked 2 conspiracy theories out of the park in one shot.
But isn't that how we
And-
9/11 was how you and I kind of
Well, no, you and I were very close friends, but
no, not the friends, but like we got
Yeah.
into the
yeah. Allison gave me a. Do you guys
I'm
remember?
going to go
when-
back to Elliot Kelly's old quote from earlier today.
Where was everybody in the World Trade Center? He was at
it was in
Memorial. Sloan-
LA.
I was in Brooklyn.
I was in Jersey City and watched it. I moved out of the East Village for 1 month, the month of September, and I watched the World Trade Center crumble from the Jersey side, where I could see from the top of the
Everything,
buildings
yeah.
to the bottom. It was awful.
I watched 7 crumble from the Brooklyn Promenade.
Yeah, but is 7
Oh,
the
yes.
one? Is 7 the
That was
one that
later
was?
in the
Seven,
day.
the one that really should
Yeah,
have done that.
7 is the
Yeah.
one was there was a brush fire, and then you see the detonators go.
It was a-
And
Yeah,
it
yeah.
imploded.
7 was like 6 hours later, but I was downtown Brooklyn.
Yeah, it was 6 hours later, and there was no reason for it to fall except all of the Verizon and financial phone records that Rudy Giuliani's company had.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so
And my brother, though, was in the American Stock Exchange when it fell.
really,
Yeah, it was like a block and a half down below. He was one of those dust bunnies. Dust
yeah.
people.
No, well, listen. So I was supposed to be in the World Trade Center that morning. I canceled on the guy who I was going to have breakfast with the night before.
Wait, no. Is this true?
This is true. I can tell you so many bizarre stories. My friend Trisha Smith, who is on here, she may be watching. I don't know. She had a Dandy Dinmont Terrier. It's a particular type of dog. Great dog, well-behaved dog. As she's leaving for work, she was riding her bike and she was training people at Sidley Austin Brown and Wood, which lost like 57 trainees. She was about to leave. The dog started-
Trannies?
Trainees, but not
Oh,
trainees. but-
trannies. I thought you said trannies.
It was like the
that's
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
You're not
It was like
supposed
57 of them.
So anyway, so she goes to leave and the dog starts biting her ankle and wouldn't let her leave because she was riding there. Then she goes to put him in his crate like he's misbehaving. He poops all over the. I'm in trouble with Louise. Anyway, the dog defecates all over the living room, and she had to clean it up. And she's trying to manage the dog. She rides up on her bicycle. Bang! First plane hits. Like I've heard story after story like that. I was literally supposed to meet with a guy who was trying to get me to work on Wall Street with him because I had a broker's license back then. And the night before in Jersey City, I knocked on his door. I said, dude, I stopped doing this because I don't want to do it. So it's a waste of time. He made it out, but he said we would have been windows on the world having breakfast.
I
Crazy.
wouldn't be on the show.
We wouldn't be on this. Well, it would be called
It'd be
the
called the Allison Cohn Show.
Yeah.
but we made that up. Anyway, all right. So listen, do we?
By the way, Allison, my wife her name is Allison. She spells with 1 L too. So
one
I
L
love her.
also.
I never
love
saw another
her.
one. So
Hang on, 1L
Mm.
also. You can't say 1L2. You can't do that. Now we're making
1
numerals.
L too.
Also.
I like the way it sounds.
No, when you're speaking numbers, you have to say also. This is a fact. This is a grammatical fact. I decided to work from home instead. I'm like, look, yeah. So Denise Nystrom, same thing. This is not like this is crazy. And I got to tell you, my brother Adam lost a bunch of friends from Morgan Stanley, and he never said a word about it. And then I told him that my friend Trisha lost her Davy Cohn perfect game ball in the taxi and went, ah, shit. So I finally got a reaction out of my brother. It was over a perfect game ball from Davy Cohn. Wow. The Eric Miranda show. The Eric
Is dead show.
yeah. That's like
that's the Jesse Taylor's dad.
that's the
Yeah.
Jesse Taylor joke. Anyway, listen, we're over our time. Ian usually wraps it up for us because he's so upset.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. All right, guys, we're going to thank Francis Dunnery. I sent Elliot a link. He's always welcome on. I think he's concerned that he was going to be in and out.
He
of the
can get on after we're finished.
And no, he can get on
It'll be
whatever.
his show.
Yeah.
Elliot Kelly. Elliot can do his own show. Elliot's the man.
Allison, thank you.
Allison.
Thank
wait,
you.
Al-
Thank
Allison,
you for having me.
wait, Allison, hang on.
What?
I'm not going to do it. I have a queue. I have you on the cover of Vogue, 17, Mirabella. I have all these pictures. I was just going to start embarrassing you. But then I was going to do something even more embarrassing. And it was going to be this. And it's not you. When Francis was talking about the ego, I was going to do this.
What?
Hang on. Share screen. Francis Dunnery. I was going to do that.
It's loading.
It's
Oh.
Francis.
like
fantastic.
look at this one. This is the best one.
Oh.
You see this one right here,
He walked 24 miles during the show and lost his hair.
dude. Look at the one right next to me. You see the one with that little pouty face,
The blonde.
the
Yeah.
blonde.
Beautiful.
Oh my
He's so
goodness! Anyway,
handsome.
he's so he
He
looked
is.
he looked like when I was a kid. I didn't know if I wanted to have sex with him with a guy from Pilot. Remember the guy who sang Magic? You ever see what a chick he looked like? I was looking at him one day in the video.
You just whipped out the guy from Pilot.
Well, no, I actually have a pilot story. I have a pilot story. A friend
All
of
right,
mine.
finish it up. Let's end on the Pilot story, guys.
A friend of mine who I know through actually, as a matter of fact, so Francis was in a big band in Europe and Japan stuff called It Bites. The guy who replaced him, or I should say the guy who does it now, he did not replace Francis, but he's a talented guy. His name is John Mitchell. Very good. He works with a bunch of guys. He was working with Nick Mason from Pink Floyd and come on, Eye in the Sky, Alan Parsons. And I said to him, I said, you got to do me a favor. He said, I need to know why that hit in Oh, Whoa, Whoa, It's Magic is so late. And he called me from the studio, and Alan Parsons said, yeah, man, we were probably smoking. It was like a vibe thing. That's my pilot story that I got from the man who produced it. Because I've always, it's like, gang, 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 bow, bow, duh. And he goes, duh, and it's late. And it drives me crazy.
I'm never going to be able to hear.
Now I
I'm
have
going
to
to listen to
listen
that
to
song
it.
when I get
Yeah, I
off.
have to listen to it.
It's going to kill you. I got that record on my 10th birthday. And I was like, what is wrong with this? No good.
All
Anyway,
right. On that note, love everybody.
See ya. Thanks, Ian. Thanks, Allison. Love you guys. Bye.
Love
See you
you.
guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye, people still watching. Bye.